My name is Riecken. I'm working for the German Federal Agency for Nature Conservation. There I work on all aspects of ecosystem management, wilderness development, and the creating of ecological networks. The project I present here is the Greenbelt project. Greenbelt project means the project on the former Iron Curtain, the border between East and West, which we try to develop from a death zone to a lifeline. It is an European initiative with around 24 countries involved in, and we try to do several things. First of all, to do nature conservation in the field by concrete developing projects. Then we try to address the people, to raise awareness and to give them the opportunity to experience nature along the green belt. And finally, the third target is to preserve the green belt as a living monument to remember the people on the former division of Europe. I have heard I need the microphone because the talks are recorded. Okay, first of all, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me to this inspiring conference. As already pointed out, I would like to talk a little bit about the European Greenbelt Initiative under our motto "From Death Zone to Lifeline." I have brought some slides with me, and I hope you enjoy and are interested in the issue. So after World War II, you all know this, there was a division of Europe into East and West, and I would say at least at starting 1962, this border, this Iron Curtain, really developed to an Iron Curtain, or let me say to a death line. And a lot of people remember the situation, how it looked like all over through Europe. You had fences and a lot of border facilities, and many people died when they tried to pass these inhuman border. But history went on, and especially starting 1989, in some countries even earlier, there was a big movement, especially coming from our brothers and sisters of Eastern Germany and also from countries like Hungary, Czech Republic. And so in August 19th, 1989 is a very important date when a lot of people gathered at the Austrian-Hungarian border to have a so-called pan-European picnic organized by Hungarian activists. And so you see thousands of people met there, and then they broke through the border. It was a very symbolic and very important day when hundreds of people, especially people from Eastern Germany, passed through the border, and that was one of the very most important starting points of the end of these historical situations. Another date is very important for German people. Is the 9th of November. You see here the press conference of the government of the former GDR. And this guy here is called Günther Schabowski. He was member of the Council of Ministers, and he was the speaker of the Eastern German government. And at 9th of August, in this press conference, he announced that there has been a new law after which there are no future restrictions for Eastern German people traveling, passing the border. And he was asked from which date this will work, that this should be into action. And he didn't really know, and he said, from now. And then this happened. Thousands of people went to the Berlin Wall, went to the borders, and that was the end of the Cold War in Germany. Is strongly related to this date. Why I'm telling this to you? Because what happened since this is that these former Iron Curtain we tried to change into a green belt. A green belt that in the case of Germany runs from the Baltic seashore passing through Germany and ends at the border triangle between Saxony, Bavaria, and the Czech Republic. And here you have some impressions, some brief impressions. This is the very northern end where the former border reaches the Baltic Sea. There are lakes in this area. There's part of the Elbe River. And then we have a green belt running through agricultural land, which are the remainings of the former border zone. In this very, very famous pictures taken by our friends and colleagues from Friends of the Earth, symbolizes what happens. You have the border post, and on the top a very threatened bird species, which only has large populations in the border area, and it had it already in the time of the Iron Curtain. These developments, what we can watch, is the starting point of our activities to protect the former borderline as a green line, as a green belt. But that is not only true for Germany, but it is also true for the whole of Europe. Here you can see the map of the European green belt. It is a little bit complicated, and I can explain it in the coffee break, because we have here some interesting structures, depending on especially on the political individual situation of former Yugoslavia. And here you have some impressions, some brief impressions, how it looks like from the far north, where we have in the very north the Russian-Norwegian border, down to the Black Sea at the border between Bulgaria and Turkey. A lot of wilderness areas, cultural landscapes, water ecosystems, threatened species are these greenbelt harbors. In Scandinavia and also in the Balkans, there have been some local initiatives in the 90s, but in 2003, together with our colleagues from UND, Friends of the Earth Germany, and other NGO and GO partners, we did a first step by hosting an international conference, Perspectives of the Greenbelt, in Bonn, Germany. And very important here is Mikhail Gorbachev, the former president of the Soviet Union, who was the guest of honor of this conference. And that was the starting point of the European Greenbelt Initiative. We also think it is important to bring people, especially young people, into direct contact with nature. Here in this examples, in working camps, they help to manage the greenbelt and to get an own experience of nature. And a lot of land art projects or school pupil projects are dealing with the idea of the greenbelt. But the third target we have is to preserve the greenbelt as a living monument, remembering the people on this former situation to be a living monument for the growing together Europe. For this, we have historical workshops, we are cooperating with border museums, we have collected a number of interviews with contemporary witnesses. This could be used for examples and are used for guided tours, etc. And up to now, 17 of the 24 states have joined this declaration of intent to protect the European Greenbelt, and the Slovak Republic will be the 18th in a couple of weeks. So that is a brief overview on our initiative. This last slide, I would point out what you can see here on the top. We have a small folder, some copies I have outside in all languages from the people from the Finnish or Sami language down to Turkish language, so that is a joint activity to inform the people. So that will symbolize, I have not addressed it, especially that public relations, beginning by young people up to local people and politicians, also is a very important task. But my time is over, and I thank you very much for your attention.